all the way from Italy to give this testimony wholeheartedly. I'm into import and export. It all started December last year. My husband called me that my daughter normally have temperature between 30, 40. And I told my husband, I said, it's too high for a little girl of just 7 years and a half. So I told my husband, I said, just take her to the hospital, of which he did. So when he got there, they tested that. They said there is nothing wrong with her, that he should take her home. I said, no. Let her stay there with them because 39, 40 is much. And me, I'm here in Nigeria. So I quickly called my agent to rebook my ticket. I went back home. So that was on the 22nd. I flew in to Bologna and I went direct to the ICU. To the hospital. Getting there, we stayed in the hospital. We admitted for 2 weeks. They will take our blood in the morning, nothing is wrong. Take our blood in the evening, nothing is wrong. On the 27th, I was just in the chair, sat down, said, okay, let me just rest a bit before doing my night prayers. So I was in a trance, and 2 hefty men came into the hospital where we were, one by her right, one by her left, and with a portfolio. And I asked, I said, what are you doing? The man said, he's here to harvest her organs. I said, no. So I opened my eyes. I started praying till 1:30 in the night. Called my husband. I said, babe, this is what I saw. Let's pray. My husband said, we have been praying. We'll still continue. I said, okay. So every time her body would be hot. And on the 3rd of January, 2024, I betted her. I took care of her. And at about 4 p.m. in the evening, the only word my daughter could just tell me, and it still sounds like a bomb in my head. She just said, Mommy, she's 7 years plus, and she's a lover of Pastor Jerry, and I'm happy for that. She said, Mommy, please, can you pray for me? Mommy, please pray for me. I said, I prayed for her. I said, please, Mommy, can you tell the God of Pastor Jerry to pray for me, to heal me? I said, don't worry, you'll be healed. Within the period of 15 minutes, she was just shutting down. She said, Mommy, I can't breathe. I said, how? She said, Mommy, I can't breathe. I called in nurses. More than 30 nurses were attending to her. Before I could say anything, they rushed her to the ICU. What seems just like that, a child's play, they put this tube on her head. We went home. They said we can't stay with her. In the next morning, by 10 o'clock in the morning, they called. They told her that because that night we prayed and played, oh God, show us mercy with our picture attached to it. The doctors called us from the hospital, from the ICU unit, and said they don't even know why the child is still alive. That in the night she was dead. That they have to put a tube through her mouth to her stomach for her to be able to live. We should come down to the hospital and send some documents. We went there, we signed. Okay, what is wrong with her? They couldn't tell us anything. So this was our situation. After about 4 days, they came and they said, because they said the organs in the body is fighting against each other. The immune system is fighting against each other, that she has lupus and her body is on fire. That the liver is getting bigger, the kidney is shrinking, and the respiratory system is totally burnt. So there is nothing they can do about it. It's just for us to wait until the body calms down. I told them, quello che Dio non può fare non esiste. That is to say, what God cannot do does not exist. And I told them, I said, leave her. If her heart is still breathing, she will live and she will be fine. They told me, Via Samantha, that is going away. This one is out of her head. You don't understand medical terms. I said, okay. We still continue. They told me that the different disease started sprinkling up. After about a few days, they called us. They told us that the major problem is that all her lungs is filled with liquid. Now the liquid, they will not even allow them to administer anything to her. It will not work for her lungs. On the 14th, I prayed. I started crying. I prayed. So on the 14th of January, on the 3rd service, Papa came here wearing white. After he gave the first one, the second one, he put his hand on the altar and said, every liquid, because I was not doing my Sunday service in the ICU. That was now my second home. Papa said, you can see him, he was sad and brutal in his word. He said, every liquid in the lungs be reversed. That was on the 14th of January.
Every fluid in the lungs, by the power that raised Jesus from the dead, I announce, let it be reversed right now.
The next day on the 5th, because they normally draw away liquid from her mouth, from the tube, so that it will be less. On the 5th, they came again to draw liquid, no liquid. Liquid dried. On the 27th, after the ending of our prayer, a lot of testimony, everything, a lot of prophecy was coming. Then on the 27th, the day we ended our fasting and prayer of the year, they called me into their office, and before that time, when the liquid was in our lungs, they called us to the counseling room. They called me and my husband, and they said the chances of the child surviving was just 5. That she would not live, she would die. So they would just administer some drugs to her for her to try their best if she would live. But the best is for us to off the machine so she will not be suffering. And I told them, I said, no existed. My God will do it. You are a medical practitioner, I don't doubt you. But I belong to a fire altar where the irreversible is being reversed. I belong to a fire altar and I'm a tither. I belong to the altar of fire. I will not bury my first child. They now told me that they have done all they could, that they have done everything, that there's nothing they can do anymore. So now they want to take the decisions on the 28th. They are going to have a conference concerning her on the 28th to decide whether to off the machine or make me sign or how they are going to do, because she wasn't responding. I said, okay, no problem. I went back home. I went on my knees, on my closets. And I said, God, now it is your turn. Me, I can't do this anymore. I blast in tongues. I spoke in tongues. We played, oh God, show us music throughout the whole night. On the 28th that they were supposed to have the conference, all the whole machine shut down. They couldn't control her. They couldn't control her respiratory system. When I came to the ICU, I said, okay, what is the result? They said the machines are not working. I said, a big hospital like Maya, the biggest hospital in Italy, in Toscana. I said, it's shut down. They said, very good. So on the 29th, my Pastor Jerry was, during the service, I said, exactly as about 7:30. Pastor Jerry was saying, everything, as sickness has fallen, everything you want to fall in your life, begin to say it. I said, respiratory failure has fallen. Every sickness has fallen. Lupus has fallen. So from there, Pastor Jerry said, respiratory system, oh, where are you? Oh, it has fallen. Oh, respiratory failure has fallen. Oh,
I see it down far like a lightning. I see respiratory failure far like a lightning right now.
I said, Jesus, that is my word. I went back to the ICU. Got in there, they told us that from 99% dead to 60% back to life. That the respiratory system was 60% back to life. But the 40, that we are going to manage it for the rest of her life. That we are going to, there's a tube they put here, which is, they call it track. That she's going to be using it to take oxygen. I said, me. I said, no, I will not service negativity. I rebuke it in Jesus' name. That is all my portion. On the 10th of February, I called my husband and said, this thing is getting out of hand, because from one problem to another, from one disease to another, I said, I'm going to Abuja. I said, I'm not only coming to Abuja here. I said, if I can only climb to this altar and pray, I said, I know there will be change. I bought my ticket. I came to Abuja. I took my flight. I came down to Abuja. When I came to Abuja, I said, I'm not only come here to pray. I will buy a property in my daughter's name. And she will come back from that ICU. It was before the Ghana conference. Pastor Jerry was having a meeting. I was praying. I said, God, use Pastor Jerry to put my word in Pastor Jerry's heart. Let him remember me. And after some time, I saw a protocol coming out with a mantle and said, man, Pastor Jerry said I should give this mantle to you. Take it to the child. I said, okay, I collected the mantle from him. After I collected the mantle from the protocol, I came to this altar. I cried wholeheartedly. I prayed. And during that process of prayer, I was praying. I said, God, I've come here. I've done my part. Give me a word to take back to my child where she is in the ICU. If you do it for me, I will fly in and come to this same altar where you gave me the testimony and stand in the whole world and tell them that you are the only true God and there is none like you. I cried here and I prayed. And during the process of crying and praying, I shut my eyes. A hand from nowhere cleaned my eyes and cleaned my catheter and said, because what I told God, I said, if my daughter dies, I will love you. But if he lives, I will love you more. Nothing can stop me from loving you, because I know where you brought me from. I know you are not a failure. I said, but if she dies, I give you the glory. But if she lives, the whole world will know that you are only true God, because the medicals have given up on her. And when I was saying, a hand came. This hand cleaned my eyes, cleaned my catheter, and said, for saying this, we come back to this altar and testify. And when I opened my eyes, I could not see any hand, anybody. I the mantle, I went back to the ICU. Getting there, the first day, I put it on her chest. When I put it the third day, and the machine started making green sign. And the oxygen was 55. Also that she was taking, because she has dead respiratory system, which is 40%. So I was afraid. I called the doctor. I said, sir, come and see. It's showing gray again. It's making noise. The next morning, we came back to the ICU. I and my husband at about 9 o'clock, only for us from 55% of oxygen to 2%. That they are now giving her 2% oxygen. She was now having 55% oxygen. Now she was just using only 2% oxygen. Only 2%. That is quarter to. She was not using oxygen anymore. And I shouted. Before you could know, we could see anything, they changed the tube. Now they now put another tube. And she shouted, Mama. And I said, Jesus. I was shouting, today she's restored. They said she was not going to walk because when she was in that situation, this is my daughter. This is my daughter, fully restored and better. They said her memory will not come back for like a year. When I left here, the same day I prayed there, that same day her memory was restored. She don't have memory loss. In fact, she's even more intelligent than before. And the communion cup we kept that she will come and watch, she's watched it. The property we bought for her, she has seen it. Just like as we said, as we desired, God has done it for us.
What God cannot do does not exist.